it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather breaks down the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight by saying that Davis is making his own decisions and he is risking his career. Floyd explains that he has given advice before, but if it is not taken, it is no longer his concern. He adds that the matchup is good for the sport, the money is great, and he will definitely be watching the fight.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
The boxing world has been buzzing with heated discussions about the upcoming match between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Fans and analysts have divided into opposing camps, each arguing whether this fight should even take place. While some claim it's a marketing gimmick, others believe it's a chance for Tank to expand his reach beyond traditional boxing audiences. Amid this noise, many insiders have stepped forward to share their thoughts, some defending Tank's choice, and others criticizing the sport's direction.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash, I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2? Not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean. That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean. You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean, you owe the rematch to Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean. But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it, but it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett expressed frustration with the wave of backlash Gervonta Davis has been receiving. He argued that people today criticize fighters for nearly everything they do, often without understanding their personal situations. Hackett emphasized that if Davis chooses to fight Jake Paul, then that decision should be respected. He noted that no one outside the ring truly knows what a fighter is going through or what motivates their career choices. For Hackett, boxing fans need to stop dictating who a fighter should face and instead appreciate the work and discipline it takes to stay at the top level. His view reflects a broader frustration among trainers and athletes who feel social media has turned boxing criticism into a constant spectacle.
Like, he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get shit from you.
Another major discussion has centered around sports analyst Max Kellerman, whose commentary has drawn significant backlash. Many boxing analysts accuse Kellerman of being overly biased, especially toward fighters like Gervonta Davis. In several of his recent appearances, Kellerman dismissed Tank's achievements, suggesting that he had never been a true champion in his weight division or accomplished anything particularly notable. These comments didn't sit well with analysts, who argued that Kellerman's take ignored the reality of Davis's impressive record and knockout power. Critics believe Kellerman's analysis reveals a deeper bias in the boxing media, one that tends to undervalue younger stars while overhyping spectacle-driven narratives. This debate highlights how perception and favoritism continue to influence how fighters are judged in the public eye.
Because Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing. And to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135, and there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi has never been shy about voicing strong opinions, and this matchup is no exception. He openly criticized the idea of Davis fighting Jake Paul, arguing that the sport is losing authenticity. According to him, knockouts only carry meaning when they happen between evenly matched opponents. Manufactured fights, he claimed, cheapen boxing and misled casual viewers into thinking they're witnessing legitimate contests. During his discussion with fellow analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi made it clear that while casual fans might find the event entertaining, serious followers of the sport can see through the spectacle. He believes that allowing social media-driven fighters to share the same stage as world-class athletes creates confusion about what real boxing represents. His comments cut deep, pointing to a growing tension between entertainment and tradition within the sport.
Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture knockouts.
You can't manufacture.
To a
Gervonta
degree,
Davis
you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist, if he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this
with the expense of
Witherspoon. That were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you going to fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
In contrast to critics like Malignaggi, boxing commentator Showbiz the Addled offered a more optimistic take. After observing the press conference between Davis and Jake Paul, he said he felt more confident in Tank's chances. Initially, he had doubts about Gervonta's size disadvantage, thinking Jake might be too big and strong. But after seeing Davis's composure and sharpness, he changed his view. Showbiz said that Davis carried himself like a professional who understood the magnitude of the event. His confidence focus, and ability to stay calm under pressure convinced him that Gervonta could adapt and overcome the physical differences. He also added that this fight might surprise people who assume Jake's power will be too much for a smaller opponent. According to Showbiz, Davis's technical mastery and fight IQ could be the deciding factors.
I beat the hell out this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response to your take.
Floyd Mayweather's name has once again surfaced in the conversation, not as a promoter this time, but as a competitor. Reports suggest that Mayweather is now pursuing a potential fight with Mike Tyson, and analysts interpret this as more than just another money grab. They believe Floyd's move stems from a desire to prove that he still dominates the headlines, even after retirement. With all eyes on the Davis versus Paul showdown, Mayweather seems unwilling to let anyone, not even his protege, outshine him. Observers say this is classic Floyd, a man who thrives on attention, competition, and legacy. While Gervonta and Jake are gearing up for their own spectacle, Floyd's rumored fight hints at a larger theme: the constant struggle among boxing icons to stay relevant in a rapidly changing sports landscape.
Celebrities and so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers joined the discussion with a message of caution for those doubting Gervonta Davis. Chambers emphasized that size doesn't always determine the outcome of a fight. He reminded fans that boxing history is filled with examples of smaller, more skilled fighters outclassing larger opponents. According to him, Jake Paul's physical advantage means little when compared to Davis's technique, speed, and ring intelligence. Chambers noted that while Jake has shown improvement over the years, he still lacks the experience to handle a world-class talent like Gervonta. He concluded that underestimating Tank would be a serious mistake, not just because of his power, but because of his strategic mindset and discipline. His perspective added balance to the debate, encouraging fans to focus on skill rather than spectacle. Despite the flashy promotion and entertainment-driven build-up, insiders insist that Gervonta Davis is taking this fight very seriously. Observers who have watched his training camp describe him as focused and intense. Analysts have noted his body language in press events, composed, alert, and determined. For Davis, this fight is not just about money. It's about pride and opportunity. A victory over Jake Paul could earn him massive mainstream attention and further solidify his crossover appeal. Some even argue that Davis views this matchup as a strategic step to expand his audience beyond hardcore boxing fans. While critics dismiss the event as a circus, Tank seems intent on proving that he can balance commercial success with genuine competition. His preparation reflects a fighter who wants to control the narrative rather than be consumed by it.
Press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. That this turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley has been equally vocal, but his take leans toward confidence in Gervonta Davis. Bradley called the fight an easy money opportunity for Tank, saying that Davis's experience and skill level make Jake Paul's challenge look minor. In comparison, he pointed out that Davis has faced and defeated elite opponents, whereas Jake has fought only a handful of professionals. Bradley believes that while Jake's dedication deserves respect, the gap in experience is too wide to ignore. He also remarked that Davis's speed, defense, and timing will expose Jake's weaknesses within a few rounds. In Bradley's opinion, the only real risk for Gervonta is underestimating his opponent. As long as he stays disciplined, Bradley predicts a dominant performance. Beyond the criticism and predictions, this fight represents a bigger shift in boxing's direction. The sport is evolving, and the line between entertainment and competition has blurred more than ever. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul symbolizes that change, a collision between traditional athletic excellence and modern celebrity influence.
Contract, yeah. You prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. Fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah. False sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size.
For purists, it's unsettling. For marketers, it's genius. But no matter where one stands, the event has already succeeded in doing what boxing often struggles to achieve, capturing the attention of the entire world. Fighters like Davis are adapting to this new era, learning how to balance integrity with showmanship. Whether fans love it or hate it, this matchup proves that boxing is not just surviving, but transforming.
The heart right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, 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 man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, hey, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.